Welcome to this week's energy forecast. I am Rachael Phillips, the creator of the BU Oracle cards and also of the Sacred Oracle online program. This week's energy forecast is for March the 30th through till April the 5th. This week's overall theme is about that human aspect of self being awakened. Let's go in and explore and unfold and unpack the message that's coming through for you this week through the cards. Monday and Tuesday is the card of the world. Wednesday through till Friday is the card of courage. And Saturday and Sunday, the card is pieces of the puzzle. Now, each one of these cards have a dynamic and really in-depth meaning within each individual card. So I'm going to go through and break it down for you to be able to understand what the gorgeous intuitive message is that's coming through all of the imagery and that on the cards. So with the world card, as you can see, the primary colors are the green and blue. The card message is the world is your oyster, success shall follow. The green and blue is a representation of being able to understand that you are the creator of your own destiny. You are being awakened to your own personal power right at this moment, and how that's doing that is through opening the heart, which is the color of the green, and allowing you to be able to gain access to the real soulful truth. It's like we're getting to the real core of what is really important to us right at this moment. And therefore that blue color is about those internal conversations that you're having with yourself. Checking in with yourself. Are you in alignment with the direction that you're going? Do you feel that you are receiving everything that you ever wanted to in this lifetime? Is the world that you've created, is it designed the way that you wanted it to? Or have you been on autopilot for so long that you've just become accustomed to a certain way of living? Monday and Tuesday is this contemplation time where we're being given access to be able to go in and find that sacred space within our own self, to have these soulful conversations, to connect in with our intuition and our soul and be able to receive the answers to those questions about, are you living the world that you want to, that you dreamed of, that you know that you are capable of, or have you been sitting back in the background and allowing life to happen to you? This card, Monday and Tuesday of the world, is about you being given access into recognizing this strength within you, that courage, that bravery, and all of that comes through being able to access your real truth. With our current situations, our normal day-to-day life has been completely remodeled. We now have so much time and energy, and it's a matter of where are you going to choose that energy. Are you going to allow yourself to be fueled by fear, or are you going to be active in seeing that you are the creator of your own destiny, which means that you get to control where you want to choose your energy to be channeled at this moment. Are you going to allow it to be fueled by fear and be controlled by situations that are really outside of your control? Or are you going to take that energy back that you now have and channel it towards going within to be able to access this incredibly powerful information that is just sitting within you? And the only thing that is preventing you from being able to access this truth is that fear. So take a moment when you take this time out to deeply reconnect and be able to go in and ask those questions, is to reset. Just take a few deep breaths to really breathe into that connection of your heart and feeling it open and expand, and feel that warmth behind that. And notice that your fears will start to dissipate. And the more that you tune into that warmth of your heart, therefore those fears will quieten down, and it therefore opens up that doorway for you to be able to deeply connect to that soulful place within yourself. Wednesday through to Friday is the card of courage. Now, the card of courage, if you have a look on that, is you can see the depth of the yellow inside of the lion's eyes, and that yellow is about your solar plexus, your personal power. Your chakra for the solar plexus is about how you feel about yourself within the world that you live in. A lot of the times we have been confined by time, energy, money, not feeling good enough. Now this is that moment that we get to rein that in and decide, if you are wanting to create a new world for your own self, how is that going to feel? How do you want that to feel within your own self? And you'll feel that stirring going on within that solar plexus chakra as you go through and access those answers for within your own self. And it's about that guidance mechanism of being able to know that you know exactly what the right answer is, but you may have been fearful of being able to follow that before because society had put us in constraints that there was a certain way in which we had to live. Now we're in the rebuilding phase because the world in itself is healing, which means Mother Earth is becoming much more stronger. Her ability is for that healing is coming through to us, so we're healing at a much more rapid rate if we give ourselves permission to be able to do that. So that solar plexus chakra through the eyes of the lion has been able to allow you to be able to access your self-belief. What do you believe to be true for you at this moment? What do you believe is the right way in which you want to create your own world from this moment? How do you want to feel on a consistent basis about the choices and the decisions that you make from this moment on? All of these is being given to you as this pivotal time to be awakened to your own power that sits within you, for you to be able to understand that you do get to control how you want to feel at this moment. That cannot be taken from you unless you allow or give permission for that to occur. This is the moment to have those solid foundations, to be able to know that you're in the rebuilding phase. So all of those beautiful ideas that are coming into your mind, they're there for a very given reason. They're guidance tools leading you towards what is part of your destiny at this moment. If you have a look on the card, there are arrows going around the border, and those arrows are about moving in the direction of that self-belief, that self-conviction, that inner strength, that inner lioness or lion within you is being given access. So you may find that comes through in the form of anger or pain, and that may just be the fuel that motivates you to create change. So try not to get caught up in the deep emotions of that. Remember, every person is propelled forward differently. Some people are propelled through pain and through deep wounds, and other people are propelled forward from that deep inner knowingness of knowing what the next steps is and moving courageously forward. So if you find that anger comes up as you start exploring what does this new world look for you, remind yourself that anger and pain might be the catalyst that gets you moving. So therefore it might look like going, okay, this is how I'm unhappy about this. My finances are not where I want them to be. I'm doing a job that I don't like, and all of that can build up. And that is that tipping point, because as humans, we need to be able to reach a certain level of pain point before we create change. And therefore that is that catalyst that can create that. So be very, very mindful to not get caught up in the emotions, but see the gorgeous guidance that's being provided to you, that is that arrowhead, that propulsion to move you forward towards the direction that you want. That your soul is creating so much pain within you for you to be able to see that there is a new way of living, a new way of beingness, a new way for you to live that's congruent and in alignment with the truth that you have received through going through on Monday and Tuesday and accessing what does that new world look like for you. So remember, that arrowhead is sometimes we need to be able to go backwards to be able to see where we had lost our way, where we had succumbed to society's needs. We've become succumbed to the fact of losing our personal power, and sometimes we need to go back to revisit those situations in order for that to be the catalyst to create this amazing change that is upon each and every one of us right at this moment. So it really is such Oh, I can't even explain. I hope that you're picking up the vibes that I am, that we are really in one of the most powerful times in history, because never before has the world been taken down like this. And we are now upon a new earth that we are all given access to, on how we're going to create that and how you're going to create that for yourself. Now, come the weekend, the pieces of the puzzle is again being able to see that all of the little pieces in the puzzle are all about tiny little droplets of intuitive guidance that is dropping into your consciousness at the moment. And that may look like in the form of an idea, or being reminded of a dream or a goal that you had before, or wanting to pursue something but time or energy or money stopped you, and now that's been removed. This is the card where the pieces of the puzzle was about the illusions, and that veil that we once viewed the world from has now been removed. And now your soul is your intuition. Everyone's intuition is becoming so amplified at the moment. So really tune into that intuitive guidance that's coming through. Now, for some who have never ever gone down that pathway before, can be really afraid of it. And especially at a time where there's uncertainty, sometimes we can think, oh, some of that intuitive guidance that can come through can be, you know, huge compared to where your life is currently at this moment. It can make you a little bit afraid and scared. Be reminded that the yellow that is within this card, all of those pieces of the yellow pieces, along with having a look at the fingernails, are yellow, is about being able to access that self-belief. That belief that you have the power to create the change, and that all of this intuitive guidance is coming through as confirmation and helping you access that self-belief and determination within your own self to create the change that you want. Now, if you find that that comes through in the really big picture idea, this is that beautiful moment, because we have so much time and we have the energy to be able to review this intuitive information from a very soulful place, and from a place of awakening and renewal, that you actually have the time now to sit down and break down some of these intuitive guidance that comes through, to be able to see how can you start looking at what are all the tiny little steps that are going to take, that are involved to make this new world that you're creating. What is it going to look like? What is it that you're going to need to be able to do? And then start by taking a single step towards this moment. Every new beginning starts with one tiny step, and it's one tiny step that you take on a consistent basis that allows you to be able to achieve that overall goal of that new world that you want to be able to create. So remind yourself, it's not a matter of going, okay, here's this awesome intuitive guidance that, and I'm not saying for everyone that it's going to come through in this big picture, but for some it may. So I'm trying to make sure that I cover everyone's spectrum at this point. Some people are going to get the next step that's dropped into their consciousness, and you take that next step and you go with it, or you stop, you review, you assess, what does that look like for you? How can you unpack it? What does that mean for you at this current time? But some people will get privileged to that huge, big overall picture of how their new world is going to unfold, and that can be a little bit daunting. So as I said, take a step back and break it down, and then look at the tiny steps that you can take daily. This is where you learn that to be able to gain access to that self-belief, that conviction, to know that you can achieve, you can accomplish, and you can create a whole new world through that conscious creation, through every single step that you take, by being able to learn to tune in more deeply with your intuition, because it is coming through thick and fast, and it is so accurate and so on point right at this moment. So if you feel that sometimes this intuitive guidance comes through and you're like, oh, I'm not really sure if I should reveal that, I'm not sure if I should talk about that, remember, the reason that it is dropped into your consciousness is because it's exactly on point. And the moment that you start moving towards either speaking about it or taking those action steps, then that human part within your mind will catch up. Because remember, that intuitive person, that intuitive version of self is so much more highly evolved than the human aspect of ourself. And sometimes just because we don't understand how everything's going to unfold from that human perspective doesn't mean that it's wrong. Sometimes we need to be able to just take the action steps, and then the human brain has the time to be able to catch up and then be able to gain access to that aha moment of going, oh, now I understand why something happened. So remember, intuition requires assessment, breaking it down and looking at taking the action. So therefore you're incorporating both that intuitive version, that human part within our own self, and then giving that human brain time sometimes to catch up with it. So really you might find that taking a piece of paper and writing down all of this intuitive guidance, because it's coming through so quick and fast at the moment, and you may not even be aware of it, but the moment that you start noticing those ideas start dropping into your head, or just those suggestions or visions of the new world, or that stirring feeling within you, be reminded that that is coming through. That's your soul chat that it's having with you to be able to give you access on how to rebuild the new world for you. So this week is really all about having the courage to be honest and being real, and the courage to show up and believe in your own self, having the courage to follow that guidance and tune into that absolute divine wisdom that is being downloaded into everyone's consciousness right at this moment. You really are at the most pivotal time of creating change in this world and in your own personal world as well. So there's a connection around recreating your own new world, and then also being part of creating that change for the new world as a collective consciousness. So knowing that everything has this beautiful rippling effect, and that everyone is feeling a stirring going on within our own self. Remember, anxiety and excitement, I'll get that out in a second. Anxiety and excitement share the same physiological response, which is that butterflies in our stomach. Try not to allow yourself to automatically think that butterflies in the stomach mean that you're doing something, that it's a nervousness, and then equate that to something that's not right for you. Remember, excitement stirs that same physiological response of those butterflies. It's a matter of where you choose to tune into your energy. If you're wanting to create a new world, then allow those butterflies to reveal the excitement of the change. And with excitement becomes the unknown, and that can be a little bit nervous, but be reminded, your soul is downloading information, showing and revealing every single step for you. It's a matter of whether you're going to stay tuned into the fear and the uncertainty, or are you going to be excited by the change and the transformation and the creation of the new world that you are here to create. So I wish you all an incredibly amazing week. Hope you're all staying safe and as sane as possible whilst you're in self-isolation at the moment. Remember, your soul is guiding you every single step of the way. Learn to take time out, which you have a ton of at the moment, and allow that time to be used wisely to tune in to your soul, to have those gorgeous soul chats. So much love. Take care, be good, and look after yourself.